So hello everyone again. I'm going to present now the lessons learned from the knowledge transfer experience. And to evaluate the experience, we designed a survey with open-ended questions. And the key stakeholders participating in the knowledge transfer activities were invited to complete the survey. So in the next slide, I will present briefly the evaluation of the knowledge transfer that was based on the dimension or components of knowledge transfer identified in a systematic scoping review from Pridova et al. These components are the message, which is the information that was shared, the process that represents the activities implemented to transfer the knowledge, the stakeholders, which represent the dimension, that dimension represents the people involved in the knowledge exchange process, and also the context, which represents the local or organizational context and also the wider context. So these components were used to guide evaluation by supporting the development of the data collection and also as a guide for analyzing and interpreting the findings from the survey. So in the next slide, we will present the results in regards to the message. So in response to the question, what have you learned from the knowledge transfer activities? Participants stated that activities provided a better understanding of where they need to go in order to assist the primary care board to use data for action plans. Also, after the knowledge transfer activities, there were valuable learnings on how to structure the personal training within an institution and also on how to monitor the activities that are set in order to reach a goal. Also, the planned knowledge transfer activities were useful to help reaching a goal, in this particular case, the professionalization of the human resources within the health sector. Also, some participants stated that the knowledge transfer activities, in particular the one on the population approach and risk stratification and digital services, was extremely helpful to progress internal development on risk stratification approaches. And also valuable learnings were collected on approaches to goal-oriented care and the structured way of standardizing processes and transferring knowledge in order to scaling up the change. In the slide, we will present the findings in regard to the process. So how was the knowledge transfer process? Participants stated that the knowledge transfer activities were timely and took place in the right time, and they were well targeted. They were found also inspiring and exploratory. They were found to be well prepared and very straightforward with good ideas. They were also found to be oriented to solve the weaknesses that were spotted from the maturity assessment analysis. The communication process was found to be adequate, allowing participants to incorporate new ideas, also giving them the space and the time to ask questions. The facilitation were also assessed as skilled enough, and the speakers that were part of the knowledge transfer activities were evaluated as with a high level of expertise. In the next slide, the stakeholders, the people involved on the knowledge transfer activities were also assessed from participants' point of view. So different types of stakeholders were involved, and those were the ones important in the field of integrated care. Stakeholders from different regions were involved, and though that was also analyzed as a good point, as a key factor that brought some new ideas because they shared different experiences. Also, more stakeholders need to be involved in order to achieve substantial changes. So some of the actors that were missed in some of the knowledge transfer activities, not in all of them, were top managers, policymakers, patients, and social care institutions, just to mention a few of them. And finally, as part of the context dimension, it was assessed the point of view of stakeholders about the support from managers and co-workers. Support in terms of being committed to making the changes that their specific organization should do in order to achieve its objectives. So from the manager's perspective, half of the participants answered that their managers were committed to making the change of success. But the other half responded that just some of them, or it depends on time, the timing, competing priorities, motivation, support. And in regard to co-workers, most participants stated that their co-workers are committed or partially committed as it requires further communication effort. So there is some natural resistance to change. Only a few respondents reported that their co-workers were absolutely committed to the change envisaged for their organization, or that their co-workers were not supported at all when it comes to change. So the final conclusion from this evaluation in the next slide is that the knowledge transfer process was useful to clarify the changes to be done in a particular context. The coaching and better planning skills were gained from the knowledge transfer activities, and the knowledge transfer activities were also found particularly insightful, not only for internal implication, but also in terms of learning from other regions. And that's everything from my side.